So, as I said, we're making the transition to talking mostly about stress to talking more about discomfort. And each week I'll be presenting more information both about pain and education about pain and discomfort and about pain relievers or ways to increase your comfort. So in this section, I'll be talking about what is pain and some of the causes of pain and pain with MS. And this is not by any means an exhaustive review of this. It is an overview, and you will have some resources for this. And this is just a piece of it. We'll be talking more about this in the weeks to come. So let's look at what pain is. We've already talked about what happens when you injure yourself, and there's some pain there. So, what actually does happen within your central nervous system is that nerve cells sense danger and they send a signal to the spinal cord. So, this is the process with pain, that there's a signal sent to go up to the brain, clue you in that there's a problem, often known as signal pain. With MS, the process of demyelinization can cause an abnormal creation of nerve pain impulses. Well, if you're living with discomfort, if you're living with pain, you're acutely aware of you getting signals and pain, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with your foot, but you're getting messages. It's as if you've heard it, or it's hot, or there's something sharp. So, as I said, this results in a signal for pain when there's nothing there. Or a mild sensation can be amplified. You may pick up a warm cup and it's just warm because it has some warm liquid, and it may feel like it's just burning your hand. You'll let go of it. And sometimes there's a confusion. You may touch something cold and it may feel boiling hot. There can be a gentle warm feeling, but it can also feel like a stabbing pain. So your body is misreading something. Something that may be soft is read as something sharp. And there can be not unusual symptom with MS, the shocks going through the system. The move the head down and the shocks come through the system. Touch one part and you feel it someplace else. These are all unfortunately pretty common in MS and not necessary in the way that signal pain is necessary. Signal pain lets us know when we've hurt ourselves that we need to not be using that part of our body for a little while. If we didn't have pain, we would do more damage. But this is a signal when we don't need it, because there's absolutely no reason. We haven't injured anything. We're not trying to heal a sprained ankle or a broken arm, but our body is acting as if we are. So, what are some of the causes of pain? Well, we've talked about the type of pain, which is neuroceptive, and that's caused by tissue damage or inflammation. Typical pain happens with everybody, people with MS, people that don't have MS. But then there's a different type of pain that is more common with MS, the neurogenic pain or nerve pain. And this is caused by damage to a peripheral nerve or a dysfunction in the central nervous system. So we talked about this before: shocks, burning, that shooting pain or discomfort. Then there's the musculoskeletal pain, and that can happen outside of MS, but can be more common. Sprains, strains, pulls, muscle overuse, an imbalance of movement can happen, and this is maybe more common with people that have balance issues. So it's falling down or not using an adaptive tool the best way, and that will cause a strain or a pull. And then there's spasticity, and this is caused by spinal cord damage, cramping, stiffness, and spasms. So, a bit of an overview with pain, people that are living with MS. Most pain that occurs in MS can be treated. However, some people believe that many of their symptoms are MS related. They'll say, oh, I have MS, that's MS. Not all pain or discomfort that you may have is due to MS. And it's really important that you determine with a qualified medical professional what is causing your pain, instead of making the assumption that it's just another weird MS symptom. The longer you're living with MS, the more you get to know your body, the more you get to know what your own personal weird MS symptoms are. But there are times where if it's a new symptom or you haven't been living with MS very long, it's really important to check with a medical professional, because pinpointing the source of the pain is essential. What if the pain is coming from overusing a part of your body to compensate for another part, and it can easily be relieved by learning another way to compensate? Pain can be a complex problem. It can also be quite simple. If it has to do with your neurological system, obviously it's going to be more complex. If it has to do with the way that you may have been holding your body to adjust, to compensate, then it may be quite simple. So either way, it should not be ignored. Some pain in MS is neuropathic, caused by damage to certain nerves. With spasticity, cramps or spasms called flexor spasms may occur. Pressure on the body caused by immobility. If you're going through a time where you're not very mobile, you can have some pain because of that. We can have pain from sitting too long in a certain position. Incorrect use of a mobility aid, I've talked about this before, or compensation. There are pain medications that modify how the central nervous system reacts to pain, and there is a review of the medication in your PDF. There's an excellent chart that is from a very recent publication from the MS Society that talks about different medications that are used for different types of pain in MS. But with stress management, we also modify how our bodies react to the stress, so we can modify how our central nervous system reacts. So we go back to, even though this is being caused by MS, we can calm our central nervous system. And that's a lot about what this program is about, using stress and pain management to calm the central nervous system, to modify how your body deals with stress. And I'm not talking about psychological stress now. I'm talking about physiological stress, the type of stress that happens when your neurological system, your central nervous system, is not operating the way it's supposed to be operating. So take a deep breath, because it's not fun at all to be thinking about all these different types of MS pain. If you don't have most of this that I've just reviewed, if you have some discomfort but a lot of this you don't have, you may never experience it. Remember that everybody's different. So I'm just telling you all the possibilities. It doesn't mean that because you have MS that you're going to have these symptoms, this type of discomfort. But if you do, then it's helpful to know, okay, I understand this, to give you a little bit more knowledge. So let's move on to why you really want to be part of this program. Let's move on to the relief